If you've ever been to a major concert, and I mean a really big show, you know about the guest list. It's not just a piece of paper. It's one of the most powerful documents in the entire building that night. The guest list describes who gets in and who doesn't, who gets backstage access versus who stays in the crowd, who gets to be in your orbit that night or who gets to watch from a distance. And I want you to understand something about the list. It's not random, it's intentional. Every single name on that list was put there for a purpose by someone who decided that person had earned the access. Now, here's what I find fascinating about the guest list in the real world of concerts. The artist doesn't just hand out passes to everyone who asks. They don't give access to whoever is the loudest or the most persistent or whoever has known them the longest. They give access to people who have earned it, the people who add something to the experience, the people who make the night better just by being there. And then there's the other side of that list, the people who are not on it. And I want you to know not being on someone's guest list is not a punishment. It's not personal. It's just a boundary. It's the artist saying, this space is sacred and I'm protecting it. When is the last time you looked at your personal guest list? When is the last time you actually decided intentionally on purpose who has access to you? Your time, your energy, your heart, your healing space. Because most of us have never made that list for ourselves. We just let whoever shows up in. I'm Tracy Smaldino. This is Trauma Rockstars. And today we're going to build your guest list. In the concert world, the guest list is sacred. It's controlled, it's intentional, and it's protected. There's usually someone at the door whose entire job is to make sure only the right people get through. Not because the artist is being difficult, but because the space inside needs to be protected so the performance can happen authentically. Think about what happens when the wrong person gets backstage. Total chaos, total distraction, energy gets drained before the show even begins. And then the artist can't prepare, the crew can't focus, the whole operation gets disrupted by people who weren't supposed to be there in the first place. Your life works the exact same way. When the wrong people have access to your inner world, your healing space, your emotional bandwidth, your time, even your vulnerability, it disrupts everything. You can't prepare and you can't focus. You can't perform your best because you're too busy managing people who should have never gotten through the door in the first place. The guest list is not about being exclusive or cold or shutting people out. It's about being intentional. It's about recognizing that your inner world is your sacred place, and not everyone has earned the right to be in it. And here's something really important I want you to sit with. You're allowed to have your own guest list, you guys. You're allowed. You're allowed to decide who gets access to you. This is not selfish. This is not mean. This is one of the most loving things you can do for yourself and for the people who are on the list with you. Because when you protect your space, the people who do get in get the best version of you. Most of us are never taught that we are allowed to even have a guest list. We are taught to just be available, to be accessible, to never say no, to keep the doors open for everyone. And so we do. And then we wonder why we're exhausted, depleted, constantly performing for people who were never supposed to be backstage in the first place. And I want to talk to you about something that is really common among trauma survivors, and it's something I personally had to work through. It took a lot of work. It's what I call open door syndrome. And it's exactly what it sounds like, the inability to close the door on people who shouldn't have access to you. Open door syndrome usually comes from one of a few places. Maybe you grew up in an environment where saying no felt dangerous. Maybe having boundaries felt like punishment or withdrawing from love or conflict. So you learned very early keeping the door open, making yourself available, agreeable, and accessible was the safest thing to do. Or maybe you're a natural giver and you genuinely love people. And the idea of closing the door on someone feels cruel. So you keep letting people in, even when they've shown you repeatedly that they don't know how to handle the access you've given them. Or maybe, and this is the one I really want you to sit with, maybe you don't feel like you deserve a guest list at all. Maybe somewhere deep down, you've absorbed the message that you're not important enough to protect your space, that your time and energy aren't valuable enough to be guarded, that whoever wants access should get it because whoever wants access to you should get it because who are you to say otherwise? That belief right there that you're not important enough to have your own guest list is one of the most painful and pervasive effects of trauma. And it's a lie, a complete and total lie. Here's what ends up happening when you have open door syndrome. You give everyone the same level of access. The person who shows up consistently and the person who only appears when they need something, then the person who genuinely loves us and the person who drains us every single time. They all are getting the same backstage pass, the same access. And your energy gets divided so many ways that there's nothing left for the people who actually deserve it or for ourselves. I took years to learn and understand this. I learned the hard way. I was giving everyone the same access, and I felt if I distanced myself or closed the door, I was a bad person. I wasn't a bad person, but it wasn't until I started listening to my body and my nervous system and the cues that it was giving me when I was around certain people or messages from certain people that I didn't really understand that it wasn't a positive effect in my life or it was emotionally draining. You cannot protect your healing if you cannot protect your space. Think about that. You cannot protect your healing if you cannot protect your space. And you cannot protect your space if you're handing out backstage passes to everyone who asks. The guest list is not a wall, it's a filter, and every great artist has one. So, how do you actually build your own guest list? How do you decide who gets in and who doesn't? I want to give you the framework of this because I think we overcomplicate it, and I did for years. We make it this huge moral dilemma when really it comes down to a few simple questions. One, do they add good energy or take it? After spending time with this person, not during, but after, how do you feel? Are you energized, lighter, feel more like yourself, or are you drained, smaller, anxious, confused? Your body knows, your nervous system knows. You just have to stop overriding what it's telling you and stop ignoring it. Another question is the access reciprocal? Relationships are not transactions, but they do need to have some degree of balance. Is this person showing up for you the way you show up for them? Or are you always the one holding the space, doing the emotional labor, being available while they take and take and take? Another question, can you be honest with them? This is one of the most important questions on the list. Can you tell this person the truth about how you're doing? The real truth, not the fine, I'm fine version, and trust that they can hold it. If the answer is no, if you have to manage yourself around this person or people, perform for them, edit yourself to keep the peace, they're not backstage pass material, period. They're the audience. And then another question you can ask is, do they respect your rider? We talked about the rider a few weeks ago. They're your non negotiables, the things you need to feel safe. If you didn't check out that, listen to it. Does this person honor those? Or do they consistently push past your boundaries, ignore what you've been asked for or what you're going through and make you feel guilty for having needs? Or do they make you feel small? Someone who can't respect your rider does not belong backstage. And then another question you can ask is, does the relationship make you more or less yourself? Only you know the answer to this. This is the ultimate question. When you're around this person or people over time, consistently, are you becoming more of who you actually are? Or are you shrinking, performing unauthentically, becoming someone else to fit what they need for you? The people on your guest list should make you more yourself, not less. So these 5 questions: energy, reciprocity, honesty, respect for your rider, and authenticity. Run every significant relationship in your life through those 5 questions, not to judge people, not to cut everyone off, just to get it clear on who is actually backstage material and who needs to be in the audience. Appreciated from a loving distance, but not giving them access to your entire inner world. The guest list changes, and that's okay. It will. In the concert world, the guest list changes every single show. Someone who was on it last night might not be on it the following night or the following week. Someone new might be getting it. The list is not permanent, it's responsive. And your guest list works the same way. People can move on and off your list as your relationship evolves, as you evolve. Someone who wasn't safe for you 2 years ago might be doing the work now. Someone who has been backstage for years might have shown you recently that they can't handle the access. The list is alive. It's allowed to change. You don't have to acknowledge it. It's your list. You call the shots. One of the biggest fears people have about managing their guest list is that they have to have a confrontation, that they have to tell someone they're being moved into the audience. You don't have to have that. Most of the time, you just quietly adjust and access. You share a little less, you create a little more distance. And I promise a lot of these people will just fall off naturally. You stop giving someone information they've shown you that they just can't be trusted with. You don't owe anyone an explanation for protecting your space. Some people belong in the audience, and that's beautiful. I want to be really clear about something though. Not being on someone's guest list doesn't mean they're a bad person or that you don't love them. The audience is a beautiful place. There are people in my life who I genuinely love and enjoy, and who I also know are not backstage pass people. And that's okay. I can love them from the audience, I can appreciate them from a distance. Not everyone needs to be in your inner world to matter to you. You know what's interesting though? When I was building the Trauma Rockstar Songs That Saved Us playlist on Spotify, I was thinking about this exact thing. These are the songs that carried me through the moments when I had to make hard decisions about who was on my guest list and who wasn't. Music has this incredible way of holding us through the world that words can't always reach. Go listen when you need to. The link is in the show notes, and I want you to add your songs that saved you. Several listeners have already done that. And here's what I want you to walk away with for today. You are allowed to have your own guest list. It's empowering and essential to your healing journey. You are allowed to decide who gets access to your time, your energy, your healing space, your heart. This is not selfish. This is not cruel. This is one of the most important acts of self respect you can practice. The people who truly belong on your list, the ones who have earned access, who show up consistently, who make you feel more like yourself, who respect your rider, those people deserve the very, very best version of you. And you can only give them that when you stop letting everyone else drain you at the door. This week, I want you to do one thing. Think of one person or a few people in your life who has backstage access but hasn't really earned it. You don't have to do anything dramatic, okay? You don't have to have a conversation or send a text or make any big moves. Just notice. Awareness is always just the first step. And if you want to get clear on where you are in your healing journey right now, if you're not sure where your first step should be, I built something for this exact moment. It's the free life audit quiz at traumarockstars.com. It's 8 simple questions. It just takes a few minutes. It'll point you straight to where you need to start. Also, super excited. I can't believe it, but we're celebrating our 1 year of Trauma Rock Stars, and their giveaway is still open until the end of the month. So, one rock star is going to win a complimentary spot in the Backstage Pass 90-day program. Just subscribe to the newsletter by July 31st and you're automatically entered. The link will be in the show notes for everything. But I want you to remember, you're not a groupie in someone else's story. You're the headliner of your own, and headliners, they always protect their guest list. I'm Tracy Smaldino. This is Trauma Rock Stars, and I'll see you next Tuesday. The content on this podcast revolves around personal life experiences and is meant to serve as a learning tool. I am not a certified therapist or medical expert. This podcast doesn't offer medical, psychological, or professional advice. If you're curious about your mental or physical well being, feel free to reach out to a licensed healthcare professional for assistance.